probably the single-handedly most important reason I do not want to go back there is the footage we captured of this thing.
And I think right here you can see something in the bush. Yeah, right there.
It is aptly named Bear Hollow. Let's go down and take a look. Whoa, what is that? What?
Camping in forgotten wilderness feels peaceful, until something ancient starts moving just beyond the firelight. Tonight, we uncover 10 encounters that made seasoned campers question what's really watching them from the trees. Meet Ronnie LeBlanc, an adventurer, researcher, and former member of Team Expedition Bigfoot. For years, the show has served as a gateway into one of the most controversial investigations on Earth, capturing unexplained signs, strange signals, and moments that challenge what we think we know about the wilderness. But one night, deep in the forest, the evidence watching back at them would feel different, more real, more terrifying.
Seeing some movement.
It's night. The woods are silent, still, watching. Two men stand over a glowing screen, barely breathing. What they're watching isn't ordinary drone footage. This is a military-grade tethered patrol drone equipped with HD thermal imaging, the kind designed to detect heat signatures from hundreds of feet away, and automatically track anything weighing over 300 pounds. And then it appears. A massive, dark figure bursts through the trees. The drone locks on, the footage slows, and every movement becomes unbearable to watch. The creature runs upright, fast, inhumanly fast for something that large. Its heat signature burns bright against the cold forest floor. Broad shoulders, thick limbs, a powerful stride that looks trained, purposeful. This isn't a stumble. This is controlled movement. The men say nothing. They don't need to. There's no visible gear, no flashlight, no clothing, no sign of human behavior, just a towering thermal outline cutting cleanly through the woods. For a moment, the figure moves left to right across the screen, and the question creeps in quietly. Was it running from something, or was it moving toward its next target? Experts reviewing the footage estimate the figure easily exceeds 300 pounds. It runs like an athlete, yet no known animal should be able to sustain that speed upright. Bears don't move like that. People don't move like that, especially not in total darkness. Now, the footage exists, unedited, unexplained. Is this the clearest proof of Bigfoot ever captured? Or is something even darker roaming those woods, just outside the edge of our understanding? The YouTube channel Papa Jake is usually known for its fast-paced humor, over-the-top challenges, and playful chaos. But this time, Jake decided to try something completely different. He brought along his friend Logan for what was supposed to be a light-hearted nighttime adventure in the forest. The plan was simple: capture some atmospheric drone footage, maybe stumble across a strange sound or a broken branch, and head home with a fun video. Bigfoot was more of a joke than a goal, at least that's what they thought. What began as casual exploration slowly shifted into something far darker. The cold that day was brutal, the kind that bites through gloves and numbs your hands within minutes.
Should be down the creek
somewhere
bed.
over there.
Yeah. Now the only good thing about this cold is it'll make traveling a lot quicker. We can actually travel directly down the creek bed. If you guys remember in the last video, this was all water flowing extremely fast. Now, it's like our own little personal walkway. Okay, guys, this is so cold. This is probably the coldest we've ever done a video in. Hopefully the equipment, including the camera that we're filming with, can sustain this type of temperature.
Still, they pushed deeper into the woods, scanning the ground and trees for anything unusual. That's when Jake stopped. On the forest floor, pressed deep into the frozen dirt, was a massive footprint, perfectly shaped, far too large to ignore. He carefully collected a cast to examine later, still half laughing, half unsettled.
It's just down there. Wait, yeah, here. Check it out. It's the mold. Right here. Yeah, that thing's rock hard. Okay, let's get this thing out of here. Okay, let's get the mold and get out. Maybe get some drone footage, search for that nest, and then we'll get back home and have some cocoa and hopefully never come back here because this is gonna be a bear footprint or something. Once we found the mold, I started clearing the dirt around it. I had to carefully make sure that I was able to lift it up and remove it from the ground without it breaking. Unfortunately, it was covered in dirt. There's too much mud on it to really see. We'll have to wait till we get home and clear it off. Okay, I got it though, it's bagged. We'll analyze it when we get home.
They planned to leave before dark, but the forest has a way of stealing time. As the last light faded, Jake sent the drone up one final time. At first, the screen showed nothing but shadows and treetops swaying in the wind. Then, without warning, a tall figure entered the frame, upright, moving smoothly between the trees, not close, but close enough to make out its shape. Jake and Logan froze. Neither waited for confirmation. They turned and ran.
All right, so I got a visual on us from below. Oh, hey. Okay, now what we need to do is get over a couple miles to the west. That's where we last saw Bigfoot. Well, what we think was Bigfoot. Logan, check this out. I've got some sort of, it looks like a brick, like almost like a cave or something, just along the creek bed, farther than we've ever traveled towards where we last saw Bigfoot. Look at that thing.
Can you get any closer?
I've got like really weak signal. I can't even, I can't see it. I'm flying off the camera. Look how laggy this thing is. Okay, I don't want to get too close, guys. We might lose the drone and we'll lose all this footage.
We should get an aerial shot of it.
Yeah, you're right. Dude, look, there's too many trees. I can't push farther. After not being able to get closer to the cave, we took the drone up and got an aerial shot of the surrounding area. I started looking around, scanning the forest for any type of movement. As I was moving back and forth, we were almost out of battery with about 3 minutes of flight time left. And that's when I saw this. Wait, Logan, do you see that? Do you see that?
What is that, Jake?
Oh, I think that might be Bigfoot. I think that might be Bigfoot. Look, I gotta get the drone back. We gotta get out of here right now.
Later, back home, the footage revealed even more. The drone's thermal camera showed a large heat signature moving on 2 legs, right where they'd been standing. Whatever it was warm. It was alive. And it wasn't walking on 4 legs like any ordinary animal, a person, or something else entirely.
I don't know what that is, dude. Like, it could be a person, but they would have been like, oh, hey, guys. As I was moving back and forth, we were almost out of battery with about 3 minutes of flight time left. And that's when I saw this.
This is the first time we used thermal, and I think right here you can see something in the bush.
Yeah, right there. Hold it, pause it. Look at this. It's gonna move. Right, wait. So I think right now it's crouched down. I think it's crouching, and then I think it gets scared maybe. And
you can kind of see it.
You
right
can see it.
here.
Like something's crouching right there. And then look at this. Once we're filming, and then it'll move. It moves. See, look, see the movement?
Right there.
See the,
right
that's movement. Okay, right there. Look at the head. That's 2 feet. That's
I don't know what that is.
That's 2 feet, Logan. That is not a giant raccoon. That is not a wolf. It could be a bear. I don't know.
Jake went into the woods chasing an idea, a myth, a joke. But what came back with him was evidence he still can't explain. Watch the thermal footage carefully, slow it down, and ask yourself, if that figure appeared on your screen, would you run too? This next encounter isn't your average blurry clip pulled from a shaky handheld camera. It's not a hiker whispering behind a tree or a backyard trail cam glitching in the dark. This is something else entirely. Something precise. Something advanced. The team from DMAX UK had a single objective: to capture real, undeniable evidence from one of the most active and disturbing forest regions on their investigation list. Local legends had followed these woods for decades. Too many encounters, too many disappearances of livestock, too many witnesses describing the same towering shape moving through the trees. The stories didn't match perfectly, but the fear always did. And this time, the team came prepared.
The drone team should be arriving at the location right about now. I'm heading out to coordinate with them. Given the rough and dense terrain that surrounds this area and the head start that this creature already has, I knew we needed a technological advantage. Time is running out. It's time to bust out the big guns.
They launched one of the most sophisticated aerial surveillance tools available, the Dragonfish. This wasn't a hobby drone. This was a high-end reconnaissance platform equipped with 3 advanced systems: a wide-angle camera for full-terrain scanning, a 20 times optical zoom capable of pulling color detail from over 800 feet away, and the crown jewel, a military-grade thermal imaging unit designed to detect even the faintest body heat beneath dense forest cover.
Hey, John.
Hey, Bryce. What we have here is the Dragonfish. Primarily, we're doing overwatch, search and rescue, any type of apprehension.
This fixed-wing drone is equipped with 3 different types of cameras. A wide-angle lens, giving us a complete overview of the search area. A 20 times optical zoom lens, which can determine the color of someone's hair from 800 feet in the air. And lastly, a thermal camera, which picks up any kind of heat signature. There's no way anything is escaping us now.
As the sun dipped behind the tree line, the drone lifted into the air. Below, the forest stretched out in silence, dark and unmoving. For several minutes, the live feed showed nothing unusual. Then, something shifted. On the thermal display, a bright heat signature burst into view. Humanoid in shape, upright and running, not stumbling, not wandering. Running with speed and control that sent a jolt through the command station. The team scrambled to track it. They switched to the standard camera. Nothing. Back to thermal. There it was again, cutting between trees at impossible speed. Seconds later, it vanished, gone without sound.
Oh, wow. Whatever it is, it's moving pretty fast.
Yep, absolutely.
It's gone now.
Can you go to the regular lens? Nothing.
Lost it in the woods.
Maria, Russ, this is Bryce. You guys copy?
What do you have, Bryce?
Hey, we're catching something here on the drone in the thermal. It looks humanoid in shape. Whatever it was walking.
Are you serious?
It looks like it's about a few miles up from where you guys are right now. Oh, it's moving right now.
If it has that far of a lead on us, it may take us a while to catch up.
What unsettled them even more came hours later. After nightfall, the team entered the exact location where the heat signature had last appeared. Flashlights swept across dirt and brush. Then they saw it. Bones. Clean. Fresh. No blood. No signs of struggle. Just fragments scattered beneath the leaves. Whatever had fed here hadn't been sloppy. And it hadn't been long gone. From that moment on, the operation changed.
Did you see anything come through here?
I found what looked like some footprints that were heading up there. I say we keep on moving because it looks like they're fresh.
Let's do it.
All right. Looks like it's starting to clear up over here.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Oh, wow.
All
Look at
matted
this.
down. Been coming in and out through this.
Oh, wow.
All clear.
Yeah?
Snow right there.
You sure we check it for tracks?
Let's do it, yeah.
I mean, the great thing about having snow around here is if something steps through it, it's gonna leave a pretty good track, right?
Absolutely.
Dude,
This is fresh, man.
I'd say so.
This was no longer a strange figure on a screen. This was a predator. Something living. Something fast. Something intelligent enough to erase its own trail. So what did the drone really capture? A flesh and blood Bigfoot? A cryptid that doesn't want to be found? Or something far more dangerous? Something that hunts, disappears, and leaves only questions behind? Because if that thing could outrun a military reconnaissance drone, what chance would you have on foot? The YouTube channel, The Trek Planner, is usually known for calm, solo explorations of forgotten trails and historic landmarks. No jump scares, no creatures, just quiet footage of America's hidden places. But for this project, the creator chose something different. Simple stock-style drone footage of untouched forest scenery. Calm, peaceful, predictable, or so it seemed. The location was Farmington Canyon, deep in northern Utah, a place famous for its towering cliffs, thick pine forests, and narrow, winding trails. Beautiful by day, isolated by night. The drone had already been in the air for nearly an hour. The footage looked perfect. Smooth passes over treetops, long shadows stretching across the canyon floor. Nothing unusual, until the final flight. That's when it happened.
A while back, I was flying my drone to get stock footage of forest scenery. I spent about an hour flying my drone, and when I was doing my last flight for the day, I saw something really weird fly by my drone.
Something fast, violently fast, shot straight toward the drone. At first glance, it looked like a bird, maybe an eagle, maybe a large insect. But when the footage was reviewed at home, the theory fell apart. The object wasn't flapping, it wasn't drifting. It was flat, solid, and it moved with force. It didn't fly toward the drone, it was thrown.
Did you see it? I didn't think too much of it until I got home and was reviewing the footage again. In closer inspection, there is this odd object, flying very fast next to my drone. I have no idea what it is. It looks long and flat, and it was flying very fast upward. It doesn't appear to be a bird or insect.
And that raises a terrifying question. Who or what could throw something that high? The drone was far above the tree line. No animal could reach it. No human was anywhere nearby. Yet something below had reacted to being watched. Reports from Utah's wilderness speak of stones hurled from the woods, of warning knocks, of creatures that don't like surveillance. So what struck the drone that day? Wildlife, or something that didn't want to be seen? Meet Ken, the owner of the YouTube channel Ken's Carpentry, a channel built on calm, everyday projects, quiet builds, and peaceful outdoor moments. No mysteries, no creatures, no fear, just honest, routine content. That's exactly what he set out to film on a cold December day when he decided to record a short driving vlog near his home. Snow lay scattered across the forest floor, thin and patchy. The trees stood bare and silent. The world felt still. Ken mentioned a nearby road he wanted to show his viewers, a stretch locals called Bear Hollow Road. The name alone sparked curiosity. Laughing to himself, he joked, "Let's go see if there's a bear down there." At the time, it felt like nothing more than harmless humor. But as he slowly drove along the quiet road, snow crunching beneath his tires, something flickered at the edge of his vision. Movement, subtle, but real. Ken slowed, then stopped.
Right. So I wanted to just show you a road near where I live called Bear Hollow Road. Curious if there's any bears down there. It's the first part of December, so typically you don't see them. But I just thought it'd be fun to take a look. I have a few minutes, so we'll go for a little quick ride and take a look. It is aptly named Bear Hollow. Let's go down and take a look. Saw a mother bear and two cubs this past spring. I don't know where they would be now. Whoa, what is that? What? I'm going to get out and take a look. What is that?
The forest returned to silence. He stepped out, scanned the tree line, and made a decision that would change the entire video. He launched his drone. The camera lifted above the road, gliding over damp ground, skeletal trees, and untouched snow. For a moment, nothing, just forest. Then, something stepped into frame. A tall figure, walking upright, on two legs, not stumbling, not hunched, not moving like any bear ever recorded.
What the world? What is that? Oh, that's incredible. What?
The figure moved with calm, steady purpose. Its body was covered in thick, dark brown fur. No clothes, no tools, no hesitation. Just walking deep into the trees. Ken followed it with the drone, adjusting angles, trying to understand what he was seeing. The figure never looked up, never reacted. It simply continued forward, and then vanished into the dense wilderness.
No way. Are you serious? What? What is that? What the world?
Only later, reviewing the footage, did the weight of what he'd captured truly sink in. Too upright to be a bear, too large and fur-covered to be a human, too calm to be frightened. So what was it? Ken never intended to document anything strange that day. He only wanted to show his audience a quiet road. But instead, he may have captured one of the clearest walking figures ever filmed by a civilian drone. The question now is simple and unsettling. Was that creature just passing through? Or does Bear Hollow Road lead somewhere we were never meant to follow? Take a close look at the footage, zoom in, watch how it moves, and then tell us what you think. Have you ever seen drone footage of a Bigfoot in Idaho? If not, this might be one of the most subtle and unsettling captures yet. The video was uploaded by a channel known as Paranormal. And at first, there's nothing unusual about it. Wide open land, a quiet stretch of southern Idaho scenery. The drone floats smoothly over fields and dirt roads, recording what looks like just another peaceful day from above. Nothing feels out of place. Until the camera pans. Mid-screen, barely noticeable at first, a tiny dark dot suddenly appears, moving fast. Too fast. The operator seems to notice it at the same time we do, and quickly begins to zoom in.
Starts off pretty normally, but as we pan across the scenery, you will see mid-screen a very small dot running across the field. As we continue to watch it, apparently the operators noticed it and started focusing in. You'll see just crossed the road and is headed for that clump of trees.
The dot grows clearer as it races across the open field with surprising speed. Whatever it isn't wandering. It's running with intent. Seconds later, the figure reaches the road, crosses it without slowing down, and heads straight for a thick clump of trees on the far side. Just before fully entering the tree line, its silhouette becomes visible enough to raise questions. Upright, long strides.
To me, it appears to be a biped. And then let's pause as it goes to cross the road. Looking at that track, I would say it is probably about 10 feet wide, and it clears it in 2 steps. This really isn't that fantastic of a feat, as I'm about 6'5" and can do the same thing. But it is running at a fairly good clip through light brush.
Then, just like that, it disappears into the woods. So what did we actually witness? It's small on screen, hard to define, but the movement isn't random, it's deliberate, and that's what makes this footage so compelling. Whether this was a Bigfoot or something else entirely remains unknown. Now, it's your turn. Take another look at the footage and tell us what you see. Meet Rob, the quiet adventurer behind the YouTube channel Rob Nixon. This time, he uploaded one of the most controversial drone clips we've seen in a long while. Some viewers dismissed it instantly, calling it a man in a suit, a perfectly timed prank. Others believe it may be one of the most convincing pieces of modern Bigfoot footage ever recorded. But today, we're not here to decide that for you. We're here to show you exactly what happened, and let you decide what you're looking at. Rob wasn't chasing legends that day. He wasn't hunting for monsters. He was just searching for a new fishing spot, somewhere quiet, somewhere untouched, a place to sit beside the water and disappear for a few hours. He launched his drone for a simple aerial view of the lake and shoreline, hoping to spot a promising inlet. The sky was gray and still, The trees swayed gently. The water didn't ripple. Everything felt perfectly ordinary. And then, something moved. It happened at the edge of the screen, just a flicker at first. A shift so subtle that Rob barely noticed it while flying. He glanced down at the controller in his hands, struggling to see clearly through the glare on his phone. Shadows, he thought. Maybe light cutting through the trees. Nothing worth worrying about. He brought the drone back in, never thinking twice about it. Until later. That night, reviewing the footage in full resolution, something caught his eye. Frame by frame, he slowed it down, zoomed in, enhanced the image, and there it was, standing at the far edge of the tree line across the lake. Tall, upright, moving on two legs, not running, not hiding, just walking. Slow, steady, and deliberate. Dark fur covered its body, no clothing, no gear, no sign of anything human about it. It stepped out from behind the trees, followed the forest line for several seconds, and then disappeared back into the woods. This wasn't a hiking trail. There were no vehicles, no camps, no roads nearby for miles. This was deep wilderness, remote northern Maine. The kind of place where if something is watching you, you'd never know it. And that realization hit Rob hard. He hadn't been alone out there, not really. What makes this footage different is its calmness. No shaking camera, no screaming, no dramatic chase, just a quiet drone flight and a silent figure moving through the trees. Northern Maine already carries a long history of Bigfoot reports from hunters, loggers, and hikers. Stories of tall, bipedal creatures slipping through the forest and vanishing without a trace. So now we leave the question with you. Was this just a trick of distance and shadow? A person where no one should be, or something far older, caught moving through the wilderness for just a few seconds on camera?
Something because I believe that I've actually captured that creature on my drone image, on my drone footage, just about a week before the actual sighting took place in Moscow, and I have a theory.
Meet Jared Cooksey, a normal vlogger. No horror content, no monster hunts, no expectations of the unknown, just everyday videos. But on his birthday, in the quiet wilderness of North Idaho, his brand new drone captured something he still can't explain. It was a perfect afternoon at Farragut State Park. Clear skies, still air, no crowds. Jared hiked into a secluded day use area, one already closed for the season, roads blocked, parking lot empty, no voices, no movement. He was certain. He was completely alone.
And he's obviously learned how to ride a bicycle. And he's become smart enough to be able to do that. So right here, you can see Bigfoot riding just down the trail, leading up to the trail on his bicycle right before he goes down the trail. So it all makes sense for Bigfoot to have been sighted at Farragut State Park 2 hours away.
Then he launched his drone. It lifted smoothly above the treetops, scanning endless forest from above. For nearly an hour, everything looked normal. Just green ridges, deep shadows, total stillness. Nothing unusual, nothing strange, not until later. That night, reviewing the footage at home, Jared saw something he hadn't noticed in real time. Deep in the background, movement. He slowed the clip, zoomed in, and that's when he saw it. A tall figure, running. Not walking, not wandering, running fast and clean through dense forest, upright on two legs. No trail, no camps, no vehicles, no people anywhere near that area that day. And within seconds, the figure vanished between the trees like it had never been there at all.
If you just see right up there in the top, in the middle of the trees, you can see a black figure running away right here.
Jared replayed the clip again and again. It wasn't a deer, it wasn't a bear. The posture was too upright, the movement too controlled, the body too thick and powerful. Whatever it was, it moved with purpose and with confidence. And the most unsettling detail, this wasn't night footage. This wasn't shadow play. This wasn't thermal blur. This happened in broad daylight.
And I'm going to zoom in here a little bit and slow it down, and you can just see this figure running through. This is in slow motion. And then a little bit later, you'll see it in between the trees, running through at full speed. It's very quick, but I didn't see.
Which brings us to the question no one can answer. What kind of creature runs freely through open forest, unafraid of daylight, unbothered by being seen? Some say it's just a person. Some say it's a trick of perspective. Others believe Jared may have captured a Sasquatch in motion, crossing one of Idaho's most remote public lands in full daylight. One thing is certain, it didn't hide, it didn't hesitate. It appeared, and then it ran. What started as a birthday drone test became a mystery that still follows Jared to this day. Because even in the brightest light, some shadows are real, and some of them move fast. Thinker Thunker is a YouTube channel known for breaking down controversial videos with precision, highlighting every detail and offering honest analysis. This time, he's looking at a piece of footage that might just be one of the earliest drone sightings of a possible Bigfoot ever recorded. The location, Salt Fork Park, Ohio, a place with a long history of strange encounters and whispered legends. The video begins simply. A drone pilot is flying his tricopter through the woods back when drones were still a novelty. He's clearly skilled. You can see it in the way he maneuvers between the trees, circling trunks, hovering just inches from the branches, never losing control. He's showing off, and he's doing a remarkable job. But what he doesn't realize is that his camera has captured something far more interesting than his flying skills. As the drone glides low near the trees, a dark figure emerges, standing perfectly still, just off in the distance. It doesn't move, doesn't react. It simply watches. It's tall, covered in black, dark fur, and it stands upright, like a person, confident, silent, and unshakable.
Go through the goalpost there, and he's showing off his skills on this run, doing a little circle around that tree, comes back out to back where he's at, turns it around.
To make the shape clearer, a spotlight was added later in the video, because if you weren't looking closely, you might miss it entirely. But once you see it, you cannot unsee it.
Don't you know when our pilot sees this, or if he sees this, he'll be wanting to rig his tricopter with the spotlight? Okay, we're coming around. And we've locked in on our target. And there.
Some viewers argue it's a man in a costume. Others claim it's a trick of light, shadows, or perspective. But others believe this is a genuine Sasquatch captured by accident on a drone flight. At the time, no one noticed it, not even the pilot. Only upon reviewing the footage did the figure come into view. Now, it's up to you to decide. Is it a hoax, a guy in a monkey suit, or one of the first drone captures of something still unexplained? Watch closely, examine its shape, study its stance, feel its presence, then leave your thoughts in the comments. Because deep in Salt Fork Park, legends are not just stories, they move silently through the trees. And sometimes, if you're paying attention, they let you see them. This piece of footage comes from Reddit. A user named Cal Noah posted a thermal clip of a bipedal figure 3 months ago, though the original recording was from the YouTube channel How to Hunt. Since then, the video has sparked intense debate online. Is this a Bigfoot, something else entirely, or just an elaborate hoax? The figure moves through the forest with a broad, heavy frame, its presence immediately unsettling. At first glance, the movements seem deliberate, almost intelligent, too purposeful to be a simple AI creation or a random trick of the camera. Every step feels calculated, measured, like the creature knows exactly where it's going and what it wants. And yet, something doesn't add up. The ground beneath its feet remains strangely undisturbed. No visible impact, no crushed leaves or displaced dirt. It glides across the terrain almost eerily, as if the forest itself is parting for it. The drone follows closely, keeping the figure in view. From above, the perspective makes its size and posture unmistakable. Broad shoulders, tall stance, movements that suggest strength and intent. The more you watch, the more unnerving it becomes. It doesn't behave like any animal most people are familiar with. There's a rhythm to its motion that feels wrong, alien almost, and a presence that feels threatening. And then there's the atmosphere. The shadows, the isolation of the forest, the way the figure moves silently but deliberately. It creates a sense of being watched, hunted even. For viewers, it's hard to look away. Every frame raises more questions than answers. Is this a glimpse of a creature yet to be acknowledged by science, or simply a well-crafted illusion? Whatever it is, the figure's weight, posture, and methodical gliding leave an impression that lingers long after the clip ends. Watch closely, study its movement, and ask yourself what truly walks in the forests we think we know. What started as a peaceful day on the snow quickly turned into something far stranger and far more unsettling. A group of cross-country skiers were making their way along a frozen trail, enjoying the quiet stillness of the winter wilderness. But as their cameras rolled, something unexpected thundered past them.
There. My friend Claudia sent me this cool video of cross-country skiers and a moose, and asked me to take a look at a strange, dark-looking figure in the background. Now, aside from the mysterious creature, the video is also pretty awesome because it shows a large moose running right past these skiers.
A massive moose charging through the snow with terrifying speed. Its sudden appearance alone was enough to send a jolt of fear through anyone watching, but it wasn't the moose that would later haunt this footage. Because just beyond the tree line, half hidden in the pale winter light, something dark was moving.
Be that as it may, getting a closer look at the figure in the background, I think we can pretty much see that it's a person pushing a snowmobile along the trail and then getting onto it. We can see his left leg as he gets back on after the moose leaves. So there you go. Snowmobiler versus moose.
A tall, shadowy figure stood motionless behind the skiers, so still it barely looked human. Claudia noticed it appeared right behind the moose, almost as if it had been following it. When the skiers moved closer, the figure shifted and seemed to be a man pushing a snowmobile. Yet he didn't react at all as a massive moose sprinted past him. No flinch, no shock, nothing. Whoever he was, one thing is certain. Some things in the snow are better left unexplained. NVTV is a YouTube channel dedicated to documenting alleged Bigfoot and Dogman encounters, sharing footage and reports that blur the line between folklore and reality. The creator behind the channel remains anonymous, letting the evidence and the fear speak for itself. On December 13, 2025, the channel uploaded a video that left audiences questioning what they were really seeing. The footage begins in chaos, with the man swinging his camera towards something deeply disturbing.
Get in the house! Get in the house!
Drawn by growling in the distance, he follows it deeper into the woods until what he sees appears to be Bigfoot. Faced with the towering, horrifying figure, he stops filming and retreats, leaving the forest in silence. In another video released by the same channel, a similar encounter unfolds. This time, a couple stealthily camping deep in the woods begins to witness something that would stay with them for the rest of her life. While camping alone in the woods, they began to hear disturbing sounds echoing through the darkness. Moments later, what follows was something they were never prepared for. It starts with angry growls, followed by a sudden attack, as if something believed its territory had been violated. Moments later, when they step out to look, she comes across something even more chilling. The forest remained quiet, as if nothing happened. Although the couple made it out unharmed, but the chilling question remains, was it a warning or something else entirely? D-Max UK is a television network and YouTube channel focused on extreme reality programming, documentaries, and real-world encounters. From survival stories to investigations into the unexplained, D-Max presents content that explores the edge between danger and discovery, letting real footage and first-hand accounts speak for themselves. But a video uploaded on January 15, 2025 stood apart from the rest. It opens deep in a dense forest where a group of campers are settling in. Suddenly, a frightening voice echoes through the trees, and without thinking, they decide to follow it.
Listen. Did you notice how quiet it suddenly got? There's a really strong smell here.
I just say that.
When I came through here earlier to put those sensors in, it didn't smell like this. Ronnie, what was that? Hey! Ronnie, did you hear it?
I just heard that, yeah. I felt like it was coming from over there.
Oh, it was coming from way over there, but it didn't pick up on this. I'll switch the channel. It sounded like a crying baby. Or seriously, like a wailing goat.
That's
it
what
was
I would
really
say,
strange.
like a wailing goat.
An unnatural foul smell filled the air, and the cry that sounded like a baby pulled them deeper into the forest, until they stumbled upon something truly unsettling.
Hey, Ronnie, let's switch to our red lights. Whatever that crazy sound was, it was definitely in this direction.
That was pretty close to it.
Are you seeing any prints or anything?
I'm not seeing anything.
This place is insane.
Hold on. There's another path over here. Whoa. The hell's this? Freya?
What's up? A grave.
The discovery of the grave sent chills down to their spine. Later, in the moment of terror, they decided to use the night vision cameras, hoping to find remains of the forest, but that only added to the mystery of the sound that followed.
What was that? That sound, that was insane. Yeah, it sounded like what we heard last night. Almost like a baby crying, or an animal being heard. Maria Ferrani.
Go, Ferrani.
Did you hear that? I just heard what sounded like some sort of weird baby cry or animal noise again. It sounded like it was close.
Oh, wow. Do you know what direction you're hearing that sound?
It sounded like it was coming north of my location. What the? I mean, that to me sounded like something like a heavy, hard sound.
The video ends in a way that leaves viewers with more questions than answers. What did she really come across? Who or what was behind those sounds? And the chilling noises echoing from deep within the woods. Were they human or something else entirely? Whether it was human, animal, or something else entirely, one thing is clear. The forest that night wasn't empty, and whatever they encountered chose to remain hidden. The team from North by Wild West embarked on what seemed like a typical outdoor recording session. However, the atmosphere quickly shifted from serene to deeply unnerving when an unseen, colossal presence began to make itself known in the darkness. What started as a vague disturbance soon escalated into a terrifying realization as they processed what they were witnessing, leading to immediate expressions of disbelief and fear.
What was that?
Oh my god. Did you see that?
Something's behind the garage.
Did you see that?
No, what was it?
It was really big. Oh my god, do you see it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. No way.
The sheer size of the entity became a major point of fear and confusion. The unknown nature of this presence, coupled with its elusive movements, intensified their growing panic, transforming their adventure into a desperate situation.
Oh.
Oh, here goes
Oh,
Rick
no.
after him. We're real scared of him. Rap! You stay here, Rap. You stay here.
Despite their mounting fear and the unsettling sounds continuing to echo through the darkness, one of the adventurers contemplated a closer inspection. This decision, fraught with tension, highlighted the conflicting impulses of fear and curiosity. Their faithful dog, Riff, also sensed the escalating danger, exhibiting clear signs of distress and unease, further validating the unseen threat that surrounded them.
I hear something though. I still hear it. Do you guys hear it? Yeah, it is. Riff! Come on, Riff!
The realization that whatever was out there was coming closer, possibly even entering their immediate vicinity, became an unbearable weight, prompting a desperate call for their dog to stay calm.
I did too.
Rip! Stay here. Rip!
It's gonna come out in the clearing.
With panic rising and the unknown pressing in them, they saw it standing tall behind the trees in a dense forest.
Oh my god.
The encounter recorded in the North by Wild West leaves us with a chilling reminder: some mysteries of the wild are best left undisturbed. While they manage to escape the immediate threat, the memory of that enormous figure will undoubtedly linger, a stark warning against the unknown depths of nature's secrets. The investigator, on a solitary expedition for Ohio Paranormal Investigations, arrived at a secluded wooded area equipped only with his camera and a peculiar tool, a tree knocker. His mission was clear: to attempt contact with whatever hidden entities might reside in these ancient woods. With a mix of apprehension and determination, he approached a massive tree, ready to initiate his unusual experiment. He started with one deep, echoing knock, the sound rolling through the silent forest like a warning.
Before I go any farther, well, I'm gonna walk over and check this one out. I'll walk over to this tree. But I brought something with me. Don't know what's gonna happen, but I brought this with me. It's my tree knocker. Okay, here goes. I'm gonna give it one knock first.
After a tense pause, he followed it with 3 more deliberate strikes, hoping something out there would answer. As he waited, every sense sharpened, listening for even the slightest sign that he wasn't alone. The unexpected sighting sent a jolt through him, confirming his suspicions. The investigator, now fully alert, ventured deep inside, determined to capture whatever mysterious entity he had just witnessed. At first, he wondered if it might be a deer, but the size of the shifting shadow ruled that out immediately.
Man. When I first seen movement up there, I thought it might have been deer. And then I realized it was way too big for a deer.
Whatever it was far too big to be any ordinary animal. Straining to focus his camera through the thick brush, he realized the figure wasn't just moving. He found himself nearing the location where he had first seen the mysterious figure. Its dark gray color and considerable size left him without any conventional explanation, deepening the mystery of his encounter. A sudden movement in the distance made him pause once more. He was convinced he saw something stir, confirming that the entity was still present and potentially observing him. Although he carefully adjusted his camera, trying to zoom in on the specific area, but whatever it was, it seemed to be deliberately hiding, just out of clear view.
I mean, they were the same. It was the same color and about the same size, so must have just been the way that it was going through the trees. Daggone. Wish I had a better view of it. And pretty much no explanation for that large. It's almost like a dark gray figure. Whatever.
Hoping to provoke a response and expose its hiding place, he delivered another knock. But nothing happened. The forest stayed silent, the figure nowhere in sight, as if it had melted into the trees. Just as he began to think it was gone, something moved again, though it was unclear if the camera caught it. The investigator left, convinced it was a single, solitary presence.
We'll do something again. We'll try one knock and see what happens. Jerk the camera when I hit. Didn't mean to do that. Not having any effect on anything.
But with far more questions than answers. What exactly had he encountered? A cryptid, an animal, or something else entirely? The mystery remains unsolved, serving as a chilling reminder of what may lurk in the wilderness. One thing is certain, his quick instincts kept him safe, and he won't be returning without serious precautions. Venturing into a secluded valley near Los Angeles, the host quickly senses the place is perfect Sasquatch territory, isolated, untouched, and eerily quiet. Seeing it as the ideal spot to investigate, he sets up camp, knowing that whatever waits for him in the darkness will reveal itself only after night falls.
Yes, he saw the Sasquatch on a highway, but if you trek off that highway and down into this valley, this area becomes very wild.
Ho ho! Look at this. I see a lot of animal tracks through here. So this is a place where a Bigfoot would have water, it would have food. It would certainly have protection because I'm probably one of very few people who've ever come all the way down in here.
The investigation leads the team to Honey, a young girl who, along with her father, had a chilling encounter. Honey recounts the moment her father spotted not one, but 4 Sasquatches, while she herself saw one of them.
Her father actually saw 4 of them, but he's not available, so I'm going to meet with Honey and her mother instead. Boy, this is a long ways from Big Bear Lake.
It is.
This is where it all happened then, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
But let me get this straight. Your father actually is the one who initially saw them, is that right?
Yeah, my dad saw 4, but I saw 1 of the 4. Me, my brother, and my father, we were driving. My dad, he suddenly said, "Look over there," and I look over, and I'm like, whoa.
She describes the creature standing openly in the sunlight against a rock face, providing details about its immense height and width.
Now, where was this thing standing? Where did you see it?
It was standing, like, right there.
Out there in the open in the sunlight and everything, huh?
So when I came here, I remember there were leaves on this tree because I know they were standing in the shade and the shade was pointing this way. And the Bigfoot that I saw was looking this way.
Her calm, unembellished account lends a compelling authenticity to her story, despite her own mixed feelings about whether it was truly a Sasquatch or a person.
Well, if it was standing right here, maybe the head was, yeah, that's probably about 7.5 or 8 feet or so. How big was the body, kind of? Could you tell me that?
It was at least this wide.
About that big?
Yeah.
Okay, so huggable size?
Yes.
Most of them are. Okay. Shoot, I wish you saw the other ones so you could describe those to me as well.
Yes.
I'll tell you that it is a weird place for them to be hanging out. Your dad kind of suggested to you that you saw a Sasquatch.
Furthermore, the team then meets Michael Crawford, who shares a far more unsettling tale of aggressive encounters. He describes 2 separate nights when rocks were hurled at his car after hearing an ominous howl from the mountains.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Michael. I understand why you'd want to come out here. This is breathtaking.
Dude, you're on top of the world.
So where are we right now?
This is where my first encounter happened, and my second encounter happened right below that ridge line down there.
Michael told us about one encounter at the town hall, but now we just found out there were two up here and only a mile apart, so that's great. These things were aggressive, and that's what we're looking for. So maybe if we come up here, the same thing will happen to us. So that night, what brought you to the top of this mountain?
On the first night, a single rock struck his vehicle after he mimicked the howl, leaving him terrified.
So we finally got to this spot here, and we kept continuously hearing this howling. So I did a loud scream, and then it stopped. There was no crickets, there was no crunching of the leaves. And then a rock just came and hit the side of my car. And that just scared me to a point where I didn't even know what to do, man. Like flight or flight, you know what I mean?
Right.
The very next night, driven by curiosity, he returned only to find himself surrounded. Rocks were thrown in sequence from multiple directions, left, right, and behind him, creating an unnerving sense of being targeted and warned to leave. Michael's chilling testimony sparks a debate among the team. The damage to Michael's car and the feeling of being actively driven away leave little room for doubt in their minds. This was an aggressive Sasquatch encounter. The journey continues as the team prepares for their final night of investigation.
When that rock was thrown, it was like, all right, you need to leave now or something else is gonna happen.
Is there damage to the car?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the size of the damage?
About a dent that big.
I don't see some pro outfielder throwing rocks at cars at 2 in the morning screaming.
Exactly.
The next night, I don't think there's 3 weirdos sitting out in the woods, clapping their hands or knocking rocks.
I can think of 3 weirdos that regularly go into the woods. Technically 4. So unfortunately, I definitively cannot rule out a person. However unlikely that may be, I just can't.
They meet with Matt, who has been camping near a previous sighting location. He directs them to Deep Creek, a place with more water than any other in the mountains, believing it to be the ultimate spot for their next investigation. What lies waiting in Deep Creek? And will their search for answers uncover something they ever expected? One thing is certain: the deeper they go, the darker the mystery becomes. The woods don't end when the footage does. If these encounters were real, then whatever they saw is still out there, watching, waiting, and next time, it won't stay hidden. Sleep well.